I have a really special introduction to make at the beginning of the meeting, and that is to introduce to you the new executive director at Crossroads of the American Revolution, our partner in RevolutionNJ. Delighted to welcome to her first official RevolutionNJ quarterly update, Carrie Fellows. So Carrie, just welcome. Do you want to say a couple of words of greetings to everybody?
Sure. Thanks, Sarah. I'm absolutely delighted and honored to lead Crossroads and to work with the Commission and Partnership to commemorate New Jersey's role in the American Revolution and help bring to light all the stories about those who participated and how their experiences contributed to New Jersey's history right up until today. We have a lot of work to do, but it's so exciting and so rewarding to be back 100% in the history field. And I'm really looking forward to working with all of you to make New Jersey a success. Thanks, Sarah.
Fantastic. Again, we're just thrilled to have Carrie with us over there at Crossroads. And she has some new team members too that I know you all are going to get to know as our work goes on together. So Mark, if you don't mind, I know Mark is busily letting people in and managing the the PowerPoint. So thank you, Mark. Just to give you a quick look at our agenda for this afternoon. And we do have at least one, maybe some more polls we're going to share with you, because we do want to take this opportunity to learn from all of you, kind of where you are in your planning and what your needs are. Mark, did you want to do that poll right now?
For some reason, I think since we are logged in together, it won't let me activate it. Does it allow you to hit the polls button and activate our polls?
Let me see if it does. It does. Okay, you want me to launch?
Launch it, please. Yes.
Okay, all right. So we would love to have you respond to our poll here and get us just some quick feedback on where everybody is. I hope everybody can see that. Can you see the poll, everybody?
Yep.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Mark, am I the only one only one who can see what's going on?
That is correct. Okay. You have all the power right now.
This is like a huge responsibility. I don't know if I can handle it. What I want to do is give another, another minute for you all to respond to the poll, and then I will end it and we'll report to you the results. And while you're answering our poll questions, just let me quickly give you a view into what's coming up on today's update. We're going to give you an overview of what we've been up to at RevolutionNJ. You can see there under the updates section. And then we do have two very special presentations for you. First, from Princeton Partners. They are the consulting firm that we've been working with very closely over the last few months. And our big focus recently has been preparing the new RevolutionNJ website. We're going to give you a sneak peek of that. And then second, we're just delighted to have Craighead here to give us an overview of the plans for the new Washington Crossing Visitor Center, which I know many of us are really excited about. So that's what's coming up this afternoon. Okay, so I've given you all another minute. I am going to end the poll. So if anyone's clicking their last answers, I see some additional ones coming in. Okay, I'm going to end the poll with 68 participating. And I'm going to share the results with you all. Hope you all can see that. So it looks like 72% of you have started planning. Good job. Glad to see that. 13% of you are, not quite underway, and we hope we'll be able to give you some encouragement and some resources to get started. And that goes for the folks, the 15% who are saying they're unsure. In terms of what would help you get started, it looks like 50% of you are looking for educational and interpretive resources, and 38% of you are looking for a how-to handbook. There are some more responses. 32% would like to see some workshops. 34 would like to see some webinars. 63%, is that our high watermark? It is. 63% of you would like to see funding. Only 2% of you are looking for staffing and volunteers. 29% looking for communications and marketing help. And a little over half of you are looking for opportunities to collaborate. And then we'll take a look at what that other category is and maybe share with that with you a bit later. So I'm going to stop sharing of that one and close up our poll. And let's get started with our agenda, with our update. And again, let me just remind you, if you do have questions, we do want to answer those, and please put them in the chat. And I love it that some people are already beginning to introduce themselves and get acquainted. So Carrie, I'm going to let you take this one to get us started about the 25 million.
So many of you probably have already been aware of this, that the state legislature in the 2022-23 budget has appropriated $25 million. And so a pretty high level meeting with representatives from DEP, from the Historical Commission, from Crossroads, the governor's office are going to be meeting to allocate those funds that were earmarked for Revolutionary War sites that are state-owned for capital improvements. This is a huge job. DEP staff and historic sites have already done some preliminary work on this, and we are really looking forward to getting those nailed down so that then the governor's office can make an announcement. So we'll be having that meeting in the next couple of weeks, and we will let you all know what we end up with.
Yeah, so exciting to see that moving forward. And
get everybody visitor ready.
Absolutely. And let me just say on behalf of everybody, Carrie, that we really appreciate the leadership that Crossroads showed in helping to advocate for that funding. That's fantastic.
Thanks, Sarah.
So here's a little update too on some of the outreach that we've been doing at RevolutionNJ. So we did exhibit at the New Jersey Council for the Social Studies Conference last month and had a great time interacting with teachers. As I hope all of you know, focusing on K-12 education is really a key goal for us here. Secondly, we just want to remind you that we do have resources available on our websites. And you're going to hear more about the new website coming up, but those are there for you and are great tools as you begin, especially those of you who are just getting started on planning for the 250th. These resources are designed for you to help you really see what we are thinking about at the state level, and then think about how that works with your own individual sites and goals. So please make use of those resources. And we also have come up with some new things particularly for educators. And the newest entries on this slide would be our new interpretive theme posters that we started. And we also have a brochure that now we have available specifically for K-12 educators. And Carrie, I think we'll end this one off to you.
We're also going to be at some upcoming conferences. Currently, I have staff at the NJEA convention setting up for that, which is tomorrow and Friday. And then the NJHC and some of the Crossroads staff are both going to be collaborating for the League of Municipalities Conference, November 15th through 17th, and they'll be doing that as RevolutionNJ. And I think we have some board members who are both going to be there as well. So that's great. And then some of the Crossroads staff will be attending the New Jersey Travel and Tourism Conference, also to highlight RevNJ, December 1st through 2nd. And so we're getting out there and we're spreading the word, and we have these wonderful new new banners and exhibit furniture that we worked with our communications consultant Princeton partners to produce, and they're great, and I think you'll be excited to see them.
Let me add that our booth at the League of Municipalities is number 152. So if any of you are going to be there, please stop by and say hello. We'd love to see you. Now, another related to that appearance at the League of Municipalities is an effort that we're starting to really get our municipalities and counties around the state to get started planning. So we will be really kicking that off in high gear at the League of Municipalities conference next week. And among the tools that we're going to be handing out to local elected officials will be a draft resolution that we hope they'll take and personalize to reflect their own communities, and then pass to become to actually officially become RevolutionNJ communities. And we prepared another brochure with more information about that to hand out to them. And then Mark, oh, and by the way, if you haven't already, please do sign up for our newsletter so that you can stay in the know for all of this ongoing activity. And Mark will go on to the next level of activity in terms of really trying to engage with communities. And that is that we've launched a series of county level meetings. And as you can see, we've got those 7 counties already either we've met with or are going to be meeting with in the near future. But those of you from counties that you don't yet see listed here, we'd love to hear from you, because we would love to come and meet with you and offer support, assistance, ideas, inspiration, and help you get started on the county levels too. So if you would like to know more about that, or would like to get more support in organizing at the county or local level, by all means reach out to Mark, and he would be happy to help you in any way we can. And Carrie, I'll hand this one off to you.
Yeah, sure. So just to let you know, this didn't just start yesterday. So we have been working on RevNJ initiatives and some research to kind of support what we're doing since 2018. So what you can find on both the Crossroads website, the Historical Commission website, and very soon the RevNJ website, will be the statewide historic sites visitor readiness assessment reports that was put together with several consultants, including Clark Hayton Hintz, and kind of looks at monetarily what each site that was assessed needs in terms of support in order to become visitor ready. You'll also see the results from the statewide social studies survey, which was a huge effort and kind of really shows where our educational system is and preparing for elementary and through 12th grade education on Revolution New Jersey initiatives and topics. Also the Scholar Summit that the Historical Commission hosted. All of these resources, including the listening sessions, the impact survey, and the history community check-ins, are all available on our 2 websites, and very soon our 3rd joint website. So all those resources are out there for you to use and are available. And certainly if you can't find them, reach out to one of our staff. We'll be happy to help you find them, because there's a lot.
Absolutely. And so on those websites too, just a reminder of some of the tools that we have in place for you. The strategic and interpretive frameworks are there to help you get a sense of the goals that we've established and think about how you and your specific organizations can engage with those goals, and the interpretive themes that we developed for the anniversary. And I want to just emphasize, I'll take a moment just and say that the interpretive framework with those themes, again, we've really worked very carefully and thoughtfully, I hope, in designing them to be very inclusive and broad, so that organizations of a wide variety of organizations could find ways that they could engage with them. So, for example, one of them is Movement of Peoples is one of our interpretive themes. So I know, well, if you're with a historic site that perhaps isn't focused on the revolution, there may be a way that you can think about a project that would engage with that theme, whether it has to do with immigration in your community or movement of peoples from your community or into your community. So think about them as an entry point, as a way to generate ideas. And again, we're always happy to brainstorm with you if you want to reach out and bounce ideas with us. Those professional development series is available, as we've already said. There is funding available right now, and I want to make sure everybody knows that there is funding available right now to support the development of projects for the 250th through the Historical Commission's own grant program, but also through our county re-grant programs, which are known as the County History Partnership Program. And if any of you are in a county and you don't know the contact person for your particular county, they are all listed on the New Jersey Historical Commission website, but you can always call us and we'll get you connected if you need to know who to contact in your county for those re-grant programs. And the Historical Commission also launched a very special new grant program called the Inclusive History Grant Program. It's in its first round, and it's so far so very successful that I would not at all be surprised if we don't offer a second round of those. And then finally, we have launched a volunteer program to try to identify potential volunteers for all of you, and then connect sites to volunteers that seem like a good fit for them. So we can tell you more about that and how to engage with that, but that is there also as a resource for you. And now slide 11, which is for you, Carrie.
Yeah, you got it. So how can you, and this is what we hear all the time, how can I get involved? There are so many different ways. You can fill out our volunteer interest survey. You can, one of the things we've really been working on recently is putting out there our New Jersey Historic Sites and Reenactment Survey. If you need that sent to you, reach out to one of us and we'll be happy to forward that link to you to the survey. We're trying to plan on reenactments all through the 250th commemorative period. Put your ideas for programs and events and initiatives in the suggestion box, the digital suggestion box. Again, sign up for our RevolutionNJ newsletter to keep us in the know. We're really, really looking for pictures of our public history efforts. You can email Izzy. Her email is up on the screen. And Izzy, if you would please put your email in the chat as well once the screen goes away. We're really looking for images that highlight New Jersey's diverse history and population to use in commemorating the 250th for the website. We're trying to update our image libraries and really show photos that show all of New Jersey's history and show how we have visitors engaging with staff and each other and the site. And it doesn't have to be a pure, clean history image. It can have modern buildings in the background. We want to show that history, doesn't exist in a single place in time. It's a continuum. We're going to be talking a little bit about how you can become an official RevolutionNJ partner. I saw one of the questions in the chat was, how do we get your logo? We'll be addressing that soon. And also, like Sarah said, start thinking about programs you want to do using our strategic and interpretive frameworks. And I know they can be a little daunting, but don't let yourself be scared. There's so many ideas. Just kind of drill down and think about how your site can take one of those ideas and spin it so that you can promote your site and take part in this really exciting opportunity. And also ask our staff for suggestions and input if you have questions about local planning efforts. We're happy to help. That's why we're here. and absolutely take part in your county level planning for the anniversary. There's just so many different ways. And like I said, if you need a hand, certainly reach out to any of us and we'll be happy to help y'all. And then segue right into our very exciting sneak peek overview of the RevNJ website. And I'm going to introduce Jeff Cheeseborough, who's we've been working with closely, and Tim Burr of Princeton Partners, our communications consultant. They have been back and forth with us about 100,000 times, and they're doing some really great work. And we're so excited to see where we are, and I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thanks very much, Carrie. Appreciate that. Folks, what we're going to show you right now is a work in progress site. It's fairly well along. And as you heard earlier, our goal is to launch this. The date that we're giving ourselves is November 30. That's the hoped for date. And I'm just going to reinforce or reiterate what Carrie has just said about images. Any images that you can get to us would be great. You're going to see the site in a minute, and you'll see the images that are in there. And you'll see where there are maybe some holes or duplicates and things like that. You'll get an idea of the types of images that we're looking for as we do this. So that'd be a great help to do that. And there's another, in addition to Izzy's email address, you can also send images to info@revnj.org. info@revnj.org, which is probably a little bit easier to remember than the other one. But it would be great to have as many images as possible to choose from those. So I'm going to turn this over to Tim, who's going to walk us through the site. Tim?
Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Burr. I'm Associate Creative Director at Princeton Partners. We're just going to do a quick walkthrough of the site, but this is a public-facing site, what we've developed. Think of it as a structure for a narrative right now. We've built it in Squarespace, so it is really flexible and easy to update. So any content areas we would like to add, we can certainly add, but we have plans to build it out in the future. We're doing kind of a stripped down site right now so that we have something to start with. But again, because it's so flexible and updatable, we can start to implement the new sections of the site as we move along. But there really is that need for images, and you'll see why. So here is the site, just our initial public-facing site, phase 1. We try to keep it simple. And this was really a way of keep it simple, tell the story, but then we can deepen the story through things like news, through adding extra panels here and there. But the structure is basically, we have our homepage. So telling people what's coming. Giving them some detail on the commemoration itself. Telling them New Jersey's unique role in the revolution, and then inviting people to get involved. So then our next section is our about. So we have what we're doing, FAQs, and a contact us. But we'll just go to about. I don't know why that image is not loading. Oh, that's why. Sorry, you're seeing the guts of Squarespace right now. Here we go. So who we are. And then some writing on the vision, what we're trying to do, where we're going. These strategic goals. And the interpretive themes and what they mean. So giving more information about New Jersey's commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. This is the type of image that we're talking about, just so everybody understands. We really want to have these images of people interacting with your sites. or interacting with your programs, or really any sort of initiatives that you're doing, events, because it's very important that this is about, it's about people interacting with history. It is about the past and the present coming together. So anything that can evoke those ideas would be great. And we will find a place for them somewhere. So, and honestly, in whatever condition they're in, because we can do some sharpening, we can do some retouching on our side. If you think it's appropriate, if you think it gives that kind of, well, pays off these ideas, that would be great, and they would be much appreciated. So just continuing down. Different sections here. These, if you've noticed, are the working groups. We have an FAQ section. Here's our contact us. We have a section on New Jersey's revolutionary history. So you can see just from the headers kind of how we're grouping content here. And then we have a resources section. And resources is, well, first, this is so the general public can do more investigation into New Jersey's revolutionary history. So we have things like books to read. There's some published diaries. We have our books for educators. Some sites to visit with links to the sites, audio tours, studies and reports. Some of these we need to grab the logos for these different places. That's what these circles are. But we're working on that. And then we have some professional resources on this page. And then what we are doing is we're breaking out some professional resources for different groups, like educators. So we have a longer term plan to fill out these sections, add more sections, add specific content on how people can participate in this initiative. But that is the general idea and kind of where we are now with the site. But again, it's very flexible and we can build it out as we go along.
Thanks, Tim. Anybody have any questions or comments that you'd like us to address?
Please use the raise hand feature if you do, just so we can definitely keep track of it. It's a large group right now.
We can certainly add captions for images. Right now, we just wanted to get something up. But there is caption functionality that we can do.
Noel.
Hi. I like seeing the work that's been done on the site. One thing that would be great to me is for the entry image on the first page of the site to potentially have a collage of photos, themes, and colors, people's places and things at the entry of the site, so that we're letting new audiences know that there will be different kinds of interpretations instead of just kind of using similar images that have that are used for traditional audiences. I think we want to make sure that we're reaching out to tourists and people who haven't really thought of the revolution as a story that they would be interested in. So I would just suggest that that the first page be perhaps some kind of collage of different photos, themes, and colors rather than a static photo.
By collage, I'm assuming you mean like a carousel that rotates between images. We can certainly do that. Again, send
Oh
us
no, I
images.
don't. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend a collage as in various images. What I've seen in other states is that they'll do kind of like it'll be kind of like an image, and it'll have like pop images of like Washington, drawn images of like, say, George Washington, and then like a street sign from someplace in New Jersey. Then it might also have some like other cool colors and things like that. So just really presenting more of a pop image for the entry to the site. I think the other photos that are historical, that document the historic sites, are great, but I think the entry has the opportunity to bring through a range of images that an artist that could possibly interpret for that. I can also send some samples to the email that you all indicated.
That'd be great.
Send us images.
Yes, yes, we're begging.
I think there was another question too, Mark, from Deb.
Yeah, I did see a hand go up and then it went down, so I'm not sure if something was answered or.
Very good.
And then there is a question about making sure we have the appropriate releases for visitors for any of the images we use. And we do ask that you have all the permissions in order to use the photo if you're going to be submitting it, and that you have the rights to it. And hopefully that means that any photos of visitors have been granted, the right for you to use them, and then by extension that we can use them.
So Mark, I'm going to suggest, since we have another wonderful presentation to share, that we maybe move on to that. But before we do, there was one question that I wanted to quickly respond to. That was, we had a participant here this afternoon wanting to see our interpretive themes. And what we can do there is, Mark, what's easy? Do you have that up that you could quickly share that? I pulled it up, but my computer's being very uncooperative at the moment. I can try that.
I can upload or share the interpretive theme one pager. That would probably be the easiest to look at for everyone.
That would be great. Just to quickly show you all, because there was a question request to see those the themes. There we go. So there's much more information about them on our website. But there was a request just to see those, what the interpretive themes are, and there they are. And just FYI, our Bundle of Silences series of webinars, there's one on each of these themes. So if you want to dive in and dig deeper and get more ideas about them, please take advantage of that. But there you go. There are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 themes that we identified through that Scholar Summit, and also by all of our conversations with all of you as well. Okay.
Looks like Mark has his hand. Mark Texel.
Great. Mark.
Yeah, thanks. Just a quick question for Tim. Maybe I missed it. If I did, I apologize. Will there be, as the site develops, place where all the different historic sites stay, where I can put links up and you can just, so at a glance, people can click on, and hypertext links would take them to websites for county, nonprofit, state historic sites that are RevOr related?
Yes, I mean, the future plan is actually to have an extensive news/blog area where each of these sites will have its own thumbnail, and you can go in and read more about it inside of a blog. And then we pull those blogs into the various sections. So most sites, something like that. There will be thumbnails of blogs that you can click through or go to the full news page and sort by sites. That's the goal. We just, content comes in
Sure.
over time.
Of course.
So yeah, right now we have, I think, 14 to 16 sites that are accessible through the resources page. And we will build out further from there. We can add as many as we want, to be honest. But that is, and we can even break them out and group them in panels if we feel that that's the best way to organize them right now. That's really one of the advantages of using Squarespace as opposed to something like WordPress. We don't have to work through a developer. We can just do it. So,
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So in the interest of making sure that we get our second presentation, I know George Leon and Linda Barth and Haddonfield Skirmish have questions. I'm just going to ask you all, if you don't mind, to hold on to those. Let's get an opportunity for Clay to present, and then we can pick up on all those remaining questions. So Clay Craighead from the great Department of Environmental Protection at our great state of New Jersey. We're delighted to have you here this afternoon, and I know folks are excited to hear what you can share with us about plans for the new visitor center at Washington Crossing.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, my pleasure to be here to tell you about a lot of excitement that's taking place here at Washington Crossing. We're going to be getting a new visitor center museum, of course, and it's been a long time coming. I've been here now 34 years in the existing visitor center, and there's been plans to try and get a new one for some time, and it's finally going to happen. So thanks to everybody who's making that possible. And it's exciting. Icon 5 architects will be designing the museum, and we plan to be ready for the 250th anniversary of the crossing in 2026. And so let me share my screen with some pictures if I can. Okay. So again, Icon 5, and this is what it's going to look like. And there are 5 major things that I've come up with, basically, that are major needs that this will solve. First was the location, of course. We always, and I think everybody involved, wanted to get closer to the river. Right now, we're about a half a mile back from the river, which has always been kind of perplexing to all of us working here and to our visitors. So this picture here is showing you behind the scenic overlook. Route 29 is right in front of the overlook as well. And so you'll be able to actually see the river from the building. So just to rattle through these quick 5 for you. Location, a larger auditorium, which may seem minor, but we've suffered with a 50-seat bench auditorium for way too long. We're going to actually have a real auditorium, so that's pretty exciting. Increased exhibit space, which is desperately needed to contain the Swan Historical Foundation collection. A new exhibit presentation, so a new exhibit to interpret the collection and our story much better. And increased space for artifact storage. All 5 of those will be solved, and they're the 5 major issues that I think we had with the old visitor center. And so just getting a brand new building and museum, of course, will solve many of the problems that we currently have with the old building. And then most importantly, Mark and I are going to get a new office. So that's pretty exciting as well. Because I spent 34 years in this current office. It's going to be bittersweet leaving the building, but we are very, very excited to get the new building. So just to comment a little bit on the location, very essential to be able to see the river. And if you can see in the diagram here, when you approach the building from the parking lot, which is currently near the Johnson Ferry House stretching up along the road, you're going to have an option to go right up onto the roof. So there's going to be a roof overlook that you'll be able to see the river from, which is, again, pretty exciting. You can also notice there's a green roof, which, again, one of the concerns being down by the overlook and by the Johnson Ferry House was not to have a negative impact on the 18th century, grounds of the ferry house. So the green roof will attempt to blend into the landscape and not be a real modern looking building that could be an eyesore among the 18th century grounds. So that is again a huge improvement. Closer to the pedestrian bridge as well, with visitors being able to walk from the river to the visitor center is a big plus. And again, just closer to the ferry house, the stone barn, and our historic area. Again, the current location being a half mile back, we're kind of away from the relevant part of our story. We're more in the center of the park, but away from the historic significance. So all that will be solved with the new location. And then getting a new auditorium, which is a big thing on our list. We've had to break our school groups into smaller groups over and over in the years. And that will be solved by having a 130 seat auditorium, 80 fixed. And again, it will be a real auditorium. I hate to sound silly with that, but it is a big thing. And we'll also be able to have conferences, which we plan on hosting, seminars and meetings in the larger auditorium. So larger auditorium is a big plus as well. The exhibit space that we will be actually doubled, more than doubled than what we currently have. And we can adequately display the Swan Historical Foundation's collection. We will have a flex gallery, so we can have some rotating exhibits, which will increase our exhibit space as well. And the new exhibit alone will again upgrade and update our display. We will highlight the 10 crucial days, which we currently do here as well, which includes the Christmas 76 to the Battle of Princeton, January 3rd, 77. And that will be, over half of our exhibit space will be dedicated to our story, but we will also continue to tell the fuller story, which we currently do in one of our galleries. And we will tell the full story of New Jersey's role in the American Revolution by telling the pre and post stories of the revolution of the 10 crucial days. So we will highlight New Jersey's role as well as the diversity of the participants, as well with small bios throughout the exhibit. The other big improvement will be our artifact storage. We will have a movable storage unit, which we argued for and looks like we will be getting to be able to adequately contain the Swan Historical Foundation collection. And that will basically triple our current storage capacity. So again, a vital to have that. As added bonuses, we will have a small conference room and library. The Swan Historical Foundation has over 1,000 books on the American Revolution, and we will hope to have that in our conference room / library to be available for research as well. Another exciting thing that both Mark and I were very strongly in favor of, we're going to have an outdoor meeting area for our demonstrations. This will be actually some bench seating out back of the building. You can actually see that in the diagram behind here. And that will allow for our visitors during our musket demonstrations, cannon firing demonstrations, to actually have a seat while we're doing that, and actually for our school groups as well. So all of these combined are plus improvements to what we currently are dealing with. And I did forget to scroll down and show a few more screens here. So let me show you here. That shows you the ferry house, the parking area, the approach to the visitor center, the overlook, and it'll be a short walk down to the riverbank from the current building, or from the newer building, I should say. That's about septic. We don't want to do that. But here's a little more diagram showing you the exhibits. One of the things that we're excited about in the exhibit, we'll also have a crossing theater experience. So visitors will actually be able to walk onto a mock ferry boat, and in a small presentation, maybe 5 minutes long, you will actually be able to cross the river, and this will be a virtual kind of experience of the crossing. Prior to all this, when we were planning our interpretive plan, Mark and I actually went to visit some of the sites, the National Museum, or I should say the Museum of the American Revolution in Philly, Mount Vernon, Yorktown Visitor Center. And at Yorktown, we were blown away by their theater show, which is kind of a theater in round. And you experienced the bombardment of Yorktown, as well as the engagement of the fleets. And we thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a similar experience that we would hope to wow our visitors? And that's what the Crossing Theater hopefully will do. And it's a pretty exciting thing that we're looking forward to. Let me see if there's any other screen here on the show. So that again just shows you the visitors, the auditorium, the exhibit space, the storage area, our office space. Again, pretty excited. There's the approach to the visitor center, showing you the green roof. The visitor center is actually kind of built into the slope. So the roof here is probably 8 feet off the ground, I want to say. So again, it's trying to disguise the building a little bit so it's not impacting the ferry house, which was a big concern for us. So I think that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to share with you. There's our movable storage unit, which we were very excited to get. All right, so that kind of wraps up all the pluses and minuses. I say all the pluses, few minuses with the new visitor center.
That's terrific. Thank you so much, Clay. Now I know we have in the chat, and then we'll go to our raised hands as promised. But let me pick up one question for you in the chat. John Fabiano would like to know if a bookstore is included in your plans.
We do have a small gift store area with some books. Maybe 30 to 40, I think, was maybe capacity wise. So it's not going to be a large bookstore, but we will have a gift shop bookstore.
By 30 to 40, do you mean 30 to 40 square feet? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm thinking of bookshelves for books for 30 to 40 individual books.
Okay.
So it's going to be a small area, but a nice gift shop area.
There is a gift shop area. Okay. That will have more than just books. I guess that was my question. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Good. Good. Wonderful. And I just want you to know, in case you didn't notice, Clay, lots of enthusiastic comments in the chat saying, wow, finally, fantastic, exciting. So
yes, that's good to hear.
Folks are eager to see that happen. So let's go up to our questions. Nancy, do you want to go first? And then we'll go to Linda and then to Haddonfield Skirmish.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. I had a little problem getting on, so you might have answered this. I heard you say that there's a draft resolution for municipalities that's going to be at the League of Municipalities. If it's possible, can you send a draft out to some of the sites, because we might be able to get our local representatives to, push it.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. And in fact, I'm sure that will go on to our websites too, as a resource for anyone to access.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And we'll have that in hand next week. Linda Barth. And I saw, Linda,
Hi.
You also had a question in the chat as well.
Hi, my questions are first for Clay, for Tim, and for Sarah. Clay, do you know when the new museum might open?
Well, I think we're looking at 2 to 3 years is how I've been ballpark.
Okay,
Things have been
thank you.
delayed a little bit and, but yeah, the end of 24 possibly, but we should be up and running for the 250th for our anniversary in
Thank you
2020.
very much. Tim, when you're going to list the sites, will it be all the RevWar sites, not just state and county owned?
It can be as many as we want and that we have information for.
Good.
I mean, that's really
Make
the
sure
great thing about Squarespace.
we can send you information. And Sarah, are we going to reinstate our history day that was at Monmouth and earlier at Washington Crossing?
Gosh, that would not be a question for me. That would be a question for Mark Texel.
Uh-huh.
Put him on the spot.
As I crawl from under the bus I just got thrown under. Excellent question. We are looking at reimagining some type of statewide event or series of statewide living history-based programming to give the chance to bring all the sites that do that type of service delivery the opportunity to come together again. We don't currently have one planned yet for this coming year, but stay tuned. We see the 250th as a chance to reimagine that event.
So,
And that's all I'll say at this point.
So this is the spirit of the Jersey's Fair.
Correct.
That's what we're
Right.
talking about? Okay.
Yes. As you know, we suspended that in part because of COVID, but in part because the event has had a wonderful 17-year run. But we realized people's interests are changing. How people want to learn is changing, and we want to adapt to that. And so the planning committee we thought good time to hit the pause button and then regroup and look at how we could bring some type of programming or some type of statewide or regionally based events back for the good of everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Linda, just in terms of the question you put in the chat, which was about where has the appropriation that we've been receiving gone over these last few years. It has gone to all of those initiatives that you saw listed in our update, whether it's the creation of the website, whether it was the statewide assessment, the professional development resources, the bundle of silences videos, all of that that we just went through. And if you have more specific questions, I would certainly be happy to answer them. I'm going to go and Haddonfield Skirmish. That can't be your actual name, is it?
That actually is not my real name. Hi, I'm
Okay.
Helena Domris from the Haddonfield Skirmish. Real quick, I wanted to say kudos for using Squarespace. I'm a professional writer, so I've actually transitioned a lot of organizations off WordPress to either Squarespace or GoDaddy because it's much more visual, easier to update, but even more importantly, they load properly on your smartphones. And that's how most people view their web pages right now. So kudos to you guys. But I also wanted to mention that because I know a lot of organizations are updating their websites. My actual question was, in terms of, you highlighted the 7 themes like inclusion and all of those things on one of your papers in your website, and how to enroll your reenactment and do suggestions. Where do I find those within your website? Thanks.
Great. So all of the materials, I'm going to speak to the Historical Commission website, and then maybe Carrie wants to chime in too about the Crossroads website. This is all until we get our brand new RevolutionNJ website where all of this material will be. But if you go to history.nj.gov, which is the Historical Commission's website, and then click under the tab Historical Resources, you will find the links to that material on that page. There's a section devoted to RevolutionNJ. Carrie, do you want to provide that information from the Crossroads website?
Sure, I would be happy to drop a link in there if I were not afraid that my entire system would crash if I did that right now. Working from home today and we have terrible internet, but it's very similar. There's a resources. There's a 250 resources in there, and maybe Ashley, maybe you could find that page and drop that in there if you would, please, for that. But we'll be happy to send that to you via the chat. But there's all those reports are in there as well. So.
And Mark has dropped that link to where I just described into the chat as well. So I'm hoping we have time for one last question, and it looks like Mark Texel's got his.
That was Ashley. Thanks, Ashley.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. Actually, it wasn't a question, just very, very quickly, postscript. Thank you, Mark, or thank you, Clay, excuse me. Thank you, Clay, for that great overview of the project. Clay, Mark, and Nancy separately are 3 historians at Washington Crossing State Park, and none of them can retire until this project is done. So you heard me say that, none of them can retire. But just quickly, we hope to break ground this coming year, possibly by summer, but it's going out to bid once we get our final permits approvals in place. So looking at a spring going out to bid, and then hopefully we'll be breaking ground. And then I think it's a 12 to 15 month project. So like what Clay said, hopefully, could be opening in 2020, late 24, maybe early 25, but enough time to work it out fully before the big event happens. And a couple things I put in the chat that because of our approval through the Historic Sites Council requires us, we're required to do 2 things because it does constitute an encroachment on the National Register property. Although the site where this visitor center is used to be our state nursery for many, many years. So it's hardly an undisturbed piece of ground per se, but we're doing what we call a historic property master plan, where we look at every resource within the entire part of the park, and we have to talk about how we preserve and conserve and save those resources. So one of those is the Stone Barn, which currently has had exhibits. Our partner, Washington Crossing Park Association, wonderful partner. We hope that could be a full-size museum store, bookstore, beyond the smaller piece we have in the visitor center, a much larger place where we could have an extensive number of items related to that. And the last thing is the whole park will be getting some type of support through the 25 million to improve our roads, our wayfinding signage, everything soup to nuts. So 4 years from now, Washington Crossing State Park will look much, much different than it does now, in the sense that we hope to have preserved landscapes and just, bring it to the level of excellence that it has always had, but take it to a new level by the 250th. That's it. So thank you.
And we have now, we're 1 minute over, unfortunately. But if I can just quickly try to respond to a couple of questions. Nancy asked if there's a clearinghouse for contact information for reenactors. Carrie, can you answer
Sure.
that question?
I'm happy to. Yeah, Nancy, if you look up on Google, our friend, the Continental Line, the British Brigade, and the Brigade of the American Revolution. Those are the 3 big umbrella organizations. I believe all of them have a civilian contingent as well, so individuals can join. That's probably the best starting place for where to contact reenactors and reenactment groups. They're usually divided up by region, so you should be able to find under Mid-Atlantic in each one some groups that are near you.
Thank you so much. And let me answer the last question, which was from Roger Williams to ask what's the plan to promote heritage tourism nationally. Roger and everyone else, a very strong partner to us in all of this is the New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism. We had a meeting just this week, in fact, with our regional partners, and I can tell you that our state Travel and Tourism Division is already working collaboratively with other states in our region, particularly focused on the international market. And then they will be working with us and with Ashley Abruzzo, who is Crossroads Heritage Tourism staff lead, to really develop that national campaign. So I want you to know that I don't have specifics for you today, but I do want you to know that that is definitely in process. And I don't know, Carrie, do you want to add anything to that? Did I do okay?
No, you did great. Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Oh, there's so many things can we sneak in one more? And that would be from our friends at Washington Crossing Park Association. This will be the last one. What can we do for you?
I'll be super fast. I just wanted to mention that on December 11th, we're having the first of our Washington's Landing events. We're going to have it at the site of the new visitor center. We hope that over the next few years, it's going to grow into something, you know, a big event for the entire area. And we invite everybody to participate with us on whatever level they would like. Thank you.
Well, that was a fantastic announcement. I'm glad we slipped that in as our last very positive note. So December 11th, everybody mark that down. I want to thank everybody for being here this afternoon. We're thrilled to have so many folks joining us with enthusiasm and interest in planning for the 250th. And we look forward to seeing you at our next quarterly meeting, which will be in the new year. So have a great holiday season, everybody. We'll see you in 2023.